In just a little while, we will celebrate the sacrament of Holy Communion, gathered around the table together of the table of the living Christ, connecting to God and connecting to one another. And in the coming weeks, we are also going to be celebrating the sacrament of baptism, welcoming newly baptized members into our family, into the midst of us, to help us, to be helped by us. And we'll be reminded of our own baptism. For some of us, in some cases, we'll remember the day we were baptized. For many of us, in many cases, we will only remember by the stories that have been told to us, because we were not able to remember that time long ago when we were baptized, perhaps as an infant or young child. Participating in both of our sacraments, we remember, we recall, we look back, we look forward, we celebrate God's grace coming into our lives since life's beginning, and grace that will flow into our lives for always and ever. These sacred moments of participation in the sacraments of our church are important, valuable moments of grace that can sustain us and transform us. And as I've shared with many of you, celebrating the sacraments is one of the things that I get most excited about in terms of my responsibilities and privileges as minister of Word and Sacrament. And yet, as important as these sacraments are in our life of faith, baptism and communion are only a few of the sacred moments, the transforming encounters, the sacramental relationships available to us in every moment of life. Last week, as we celebrated the earth and all that's in it, on it, around it, we considered our interconnectedness with all of creation, our interdependence in the ongoing web of life. And to me, it seems reasonable to think of our relationship with the natural world as a relationship with sacramental qualities, a relationship with tangible reality connecting us to intangible reality, something we can see and touch and feel and taste and smell, helping us to connect with the invisible, with something that our physical senses cannot perceive. When in looking to the starry night sky, the puffy white clouds in the sky, the beauty of the setting sun, when in those moments we see God, we experience the divine, we feel drawn to the creator, creating God, whether we know it or not. We are fully engaged in the real lived experience of natural theology, learning about the invisible God through our sacramental relationship to nature. When in relating to the creatures of the earth with care and dignity, animals who depend upon us and upon whom we depend, other people all related to us in the human family, when in these relationships we understand more of our relationship to the holy, experience the divine within ourselves, feel drawn again to the creating maker, whether we know it or not, we are fully engaged in the real, live, lived experience of incarnational theology, learning about the invisible God through our sacramental relationships to others. In his song, One Ohana, Marty Haugen sums all of this up in these words: if you would know and love your Maker, if you would learn the sacred way, treasure every plant and creature, treasure each other every day. And even in the sacrament of baptism, we connect to God's good creation. We begin with a sacramental connection to water, the waters of creation, the waters of the flood, the waters of the Exodus from Egypt, justice rolling down like waters, righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. We recall the waters of the Jordan where John baptized the crowds and even, yes, baptized Jesus. We know the cycle of water as an ongoing flow of water use, which is then recycled, that is then refreshed and restored for further use. The same water sustaining all that is over and over again. These sacramental waters, essential elements to our life, Connect us to what has gone before, things and events which we can no longer see. Connect us with what is yet to be created. Through the sacramental waters of baptism, we are drawn into relationship with the invisible, creative, creating God who stays in relationship with us always. As we baptize with this common yet sacred water, we call a person by name, marking her or his uniqueness, calling each one out to be a one-of-a-kind individual, just as she or he is right now, and as that person will become on into the future. In baptism, people are called to be their own individual selves, to develop their unique combination of gifts, empowered by the distinctiveness of who they are. In baptism, we are encouraging persons to develop a sacramental relationship with themselves, to really get to know themselves, exploring the invisible parts of themselves, to learn their primary identity as children of God, reflections of the holy in unique and creative ways. Baptism draws us into sacramental relationship with ourselves to see what we cannot yet see, discovering who we are as unique reflections of God, loving who we are, as well as the person we will become. And even as we are calling persons to their unique individuality, we are calling them also to living in community, for we become fully human persons, individuals in relationship to others. Through interpersonal relationships, we discover who we are and grow into whom we will become. And the community bears a great deal of responsibility here. The community includes the parents, especially of infants, children, and youth, also families and friends who surround the one being baptized at whatever age, and the faith community who make promises at every baptism. The community promises to love, to nurture, to care for, support, teach. Baptism draws us into sacramental relationship with the people in our communities, showing us more of the invisible God through our relationships in communion with one another. But sometimes the problem with members of the communities around us is that they try to shape us into being like themselves, rather than becoming who we are meant to be, a particular and unique child of God. In the waters of baptism, we are drawn into sacramental relationship with others in the community, not to conform to everyone else, but to offer our individuality, our particular combination of gifts for the benefit of the entire community, showing another way that maybe has not been seen before, transforming a community of faith that is reformed and always reforming.